where are you pretty much always guaranteed to be able to find a lot of forage and bait fish and food for the fish? Whereabouts? Whereabouts? Whoa! That's a beauty. Good morning, guys and girls. June 6th. That's right, June 6th. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Malachi 3:10, bring to the storehouse. Oh, I love this one. Bring to the storehouse a full tenth, 10%, a full tenth of what you earn, so there will be food in my house. You know, in the early biblical days, they tithed of their crops and of their animals in order to have food for the Levites, the people that took care of God's house. Test me with this. This is the cool part. Test me with this, says the Lord all-powerful. I will open the windows of heaven for you and pour out all the blessings that you need. God is throwing down a challenge. God is double dog daring you. God is saying, bring to the storehouse a full tenth of what you earn. Test me on this. Let me see if I'll do what I claim. And I claim that I'll open the windows of heaven for you and pour out all the blessings that you need. Now, before I go any further, I realize that this is from the Old Testament, Malachi. Many New Testament Christians point out to me that tithing is not really mentioned much in the New Testament. And so tithing is only for people that are involved in the Old Testament. Can I tell you, it's all the book of God. It's all the Bible. And God means what he says right here. And let me ask you, who would not want God to open the windows of heaven and pour out all the blessings that we need? Who would not want that? Who would not want that? Here's what I wrote about that. Fishermen have reached the point where the price of fishing lures doesn't seem to matter. That's right. I've got guys that pay $200 and $300, friends that pay $200 and $300 for a swim bait. As long as we believe we have a good chance to catch a fish, we'll gladly fork out the big bucks for a hot new lure. Even minnows and worms now can cost $2 and $3 and $4 and $5 a dozen. I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's good that we have titanium split rings, which are called lure savers. We don't really have those anymore, that release the hook and allow us to get our high dollar plugs back. You know what those were? And I used them for quite a while, and they were really slick. You could get back almost every crankbait you hung up. You change your split rings out, and you put these titanium split rings. When you pulled on them a certain strength, straight pull on them, they would open up and release the hook, and you'd lose the hook, but you wouldn't lose the lure. You get your lure back, you put a new hook on it and go on. Now, people always wondered about if I got a great big bass on, he pulled real hard, can he open the split ring? I never did have that happen. Those are called lure savers, and they were cool. I don't even know if I have any left, but it'd be a pretty nice thing to bring back. We'll gladly pay hard-earned dollars for fish bait, but only a small percent of Christians tithe. You hear what I'm saying? Only a small percent of Christians tithe. You would think when a Christian reads that Malachi 3:10, he'd think, hold me back. I got to get my 10% up there and get in that offering plate, because God is going to open the windows of heaven for me and pour out all the blessings that I'll ever need. Pour out all the blessings that I ever need. But, you know, we used to, I've told this story before, we used to have, by the way, you see these things right here behind me? I set this up right here just because I love those. We call those here in Oklahoma Indian paintbrushes. Indian paintbrushes. That's what we call those flowers. And they're different colors. A lot of ours here on this ranch is orange, and they don't grow in big bunches. They grow individually, like these few have here. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know, 8 or 9 of them here. They're beautiful. Look at these two right over here. They're incredible. They're beautiful flowers. We'll gladly pay hard-earned bucks to fish bait, but only a small percent of Christians tithe. We used to have those boards up on the front of the church that told how many people was in Sunday school and you know, how many people's in attendance and how much the offering was for that week. And I always wondered, I'd go up there and I'd look, and the offering would be like $812.50. And we'd have 81 people there that week, or whatever. We'd have 100 people there that week, let's say. And I'd think $812.50, you know, that's $8. That's $8.12 a piece that they put in the offering plate. And I'm thinking, how in the world, I'm thinking reverse, you know, 10%. How in the world do people get by how they pay for their groceries and everything, making $81 a week. That's what I'd cipher that up a lot when I was a kid. How in the world they get by on $81 a week? How they pay for them new pickups sitting out there in the church parking lot? But the truth is, only a small percent of Christians tithe. We could list a lot of reasons, but the fact remains that when we fail to tithe, we are showing dishonor to God, who gave us the money in the first place. Yeah. I know we work really hard for it. You know, I work a minimum half a day, 12 hours a day, usually 16 or 17 hours a day. So I'm working hard for my money. But if it wasn't for God giving me the health, giving me the ability to do what I do, I fish for a living, crying out loud. You know, so if He didn't give me the ability to do that and fish for a living, and I wouldn't have any 10% to tithe from. I wouldn't have an amount to work with in the first place. The truth is, here's the deal. The truth is, when we honor God, and I talk all the time about honoring God in everything you do, putting God first place in your life and honoring God in all you do. When we honor God, He will honor us even more. God will do what He claims. He is what He claims to be. And when He says up here, I'll open the windows of heaven for you and pour out all the blessings you ever need, by golly, He means it. He means it, and He'll do it. So, you're having some financial problems, if you would like to have a little bit more blessings in your life, if you like more favor from God, and if you're not tithing, try it. Give it a shot. Double dog dare God to pour those blessings down on Him. Double dog dare Him to open the windows of heaven for you. Tithe for, give it a couple, 2 or 3 months. You don't have to tithe forever. If it hadn't happened, God hadn't poured out the blessings on you, now you quit and go back and say, I don't really believe that part of the Bible right there. That statement right there, I don't believe. Because I tried it a couple months, it didn't work. But most of the people that tithe in church, you don't know who they are. They're not out bragging about it and talking about it and stuff, so you don't really know who they are. But ask anybody that tithes. You can just point blank ask them if you want, do you tithe? Ask anybody that tithes and ask them if God doesn't give them back far, far more and honor them far, far more than they are honoring Him. And the other part of that equation is just like what it says. When we don't tithe, we are showing dishonor to the very God who gave us the money in the first place. Let's look at our tip this week. It's a pretty good one. There's generally a tremendous amount of food and forage on ripraps. That's right, ripraps, for crying out loud. I mean, you know, there's some things you can go to if you go to a lake that you've never been to before and you're having trouble catching fish, you can't figure out a pattern. You can always go to points, go to ridge pilings, go to ripraps. Those are some of the places that hold forage and bait fish. They hold crawfish, they hold shad. The rocks get moss and stuff on them, and algae and plankton and phytoplankton that the little shad eat. The rocks also provide homes for crawfish. Ripraps, if you can't catch any fish, go to the ripraps. Got a lot of bait fish there, and generally fish on a riprap. Not just bass. Crappie will be there. Catfish will be there. The wind blowing in on them. White bass will be there. Ripraps. Never pass up a riprap. And remember, when fish move up on ripraps, they don't necessarily move up there and live there. They move in and feed and move back. So even if you fished a riprap 3 or 4 hours ago and you come by it again, stop and fish it again. A good little trick is just to fish the point of the riprap. Just to fish the point of the riprap. And right where it ends or right where it goes under a bridge or something like that. If you catch one there, keep on going down the riprap. Sometimes we've won tournaments and caught giant tournament strings and won tons of money by fishing nothing but ripraps. Chris won a Bass and Gal Classic one time. With her fourth and fish one day on Lake Chickamauga in Tennessee, off a riprap by the dam. She won the tournament, won the Bass and Gal Classic, one of 3 or 4 that she won. I don't remember which, but won it in the last hour of the tournament, catching her 4th and 5th bass. One of them was like a 4 or 5 pounder on the riprap right before she weighed in. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. And remember, you know, I sure do love you.